Hi, my name is David. Like all of you, I hope, I'm just another American citizen, and I'd like to share a few thoughts with you. Specifically, I'd like to share this with my brothers and sisters in Black America. Now, like all of you, I've been around for a while. Well, I don't have to give you my precise age, but just to say that a guy named Eisenhower was president when I was born. And I've done some things, been a bit around the world, was in the US military at one point toward the end of Vietnam. So like everybody else, I've seen some things, done some shit, watched a lot of shit happen, have not been happy about it. And now we find ourselves in America at perhaps the worst point I've seen during my lifetime, and that is mainly, although not exclusively, due to the coronavirus pandemic sweeping the country. Now, we've had various kinds of medical illnesses hit us before. We had the Spanish flu hit us in 1918, which was truly horrible. We've had swine flu, avian influenza. We've got the coronavirus now. I was just checking some figures right before I came out here. We've got 2,034,482 cases as of today. We have a total of 113,568 deaths. Yesterday, we had 19,044 new cases of the virus. We had 588 deaths yesterday. Today, only about 2 p.m. in the afternoon, we have 7,989 cases and 513 deaths. So by the end of the day, we'll probably have more deaths than we had yesterday. And that trend will probably go up since the nation seems to be in a mania to reopen, despite the havoc that we all know is going to happen. And we all know that that havoc is disproportionately affecting Black America. Now, if ever there was a time that cried out for competent, cool, collected, rational, mentally sane leadership in government, this would be the time. And by leadership in government, I mean the executive branch. And by the executive branch, I mean the Oval Office. And by the Oval Office, I mean the president. And by the president, I mean Donald John Trump. And I don't think it will come as no shock to anyone that the man is simply incapable of providing it. Even if he was capable, he clearly has no interest in providing it, because I believe for the first time in American history that what we have here is not only a failure to communicate, but a failure to fulfill our basic civic obligations, A, by voting in someone who's not a crazy lunatic, and B, by letting the crazy lunatic get away with everything he's gotten away with for the past 3.5 years. Now, other times, somebody might find that acceptable, but I don't. I've had it. I want you to know that I'm with you. I know talk is cheap and that doesn't mean much, but consider this. The man that we have as president today is the same guy who cheered on his supporters who were carrying Nazi swastikas and insignia in Charlottesville, Virginia in 2017. Same kind of people who were killing my people about 75 or so years ago by the millions. So I have not a morsel of sympathy for this man, because he has no sympathy for us. He does not give a shit about us. I should say at this point that I am, of course, speaking plainly, and there are other people who do it better. I tried to get Samuel Jackson here, but he was not taking my calls. He's a true maestro of Maledicta, but since he's not available, I'll just have to do the best I can. Anyway, Trump is a 6'1", grossly overweight, manifestly obese asshole of the first order. I should note, in saying this, that I do have one advantage that most of you don't. I grew up in the great Garden State of New Jersey, so we, unlike many other people in the rest of the nation, are genetically raised to know that the average self-proclaimed master of the universe from New York, and by New York I mean New York City, and by New York City I mean Manhattan, is a first-rate bullshitter, a con artist of the greatest magnitude imaginable. This guy has screwed people over, fucked them over since infancy. He is what the academicians call a demented Caucasian obscenity. But for the purpose of dialogue, let me use the more popular term, which is crazy white motherfucker. Now, admittedly, throughout American history, we've had almost always, with one very recent exception, white people as our motherfucker in chief, or Caucasian in chief, choose your expression. Some of them, on occasion, have not been too bad. Personally, I have a little bit of a fondness for Lyndon Baines Johnson for his civil rights work. My parents were big FDR supporters. Jimmy Carter was not too bad, despite the fact that he was a Navy officer, and I was in the Navy, so I know what I'm talking about when I talk about them. But this man, this putrescent, putrid, walking, talking, human sack of shit is an abomination. He's a curse that came out of the earth's anus. It never should have been born, but it's here. And I am offended as a human being, as an American, as just an ordinary person with some pretensions to humanity. And I want you to know that I stand with you against him, against the people who support him, against the people who profit off of him, because they don't give a shit about you, and furthermore, they don't give a shit about me. So I am naturally with you. And I just want you to know that as you struggle, because we all know this virus is hitting you disproportionately, and beyond that, we've got everything going on that the murder of George Floyd has shown us, and that too cannot stand. So I was going to tell you in excruciating detail what an odious, contaminated, fetid, putrescent, polluted, stale, tainted, curdled, decomposing, odious, disgusting, evil-smelling, foul, feculent, pathetic excuse of a human being that Donald Trump is, and why I cannot in any way, shape, or form whatsoever stand the thought of him winning re-election. So, as you protest out in the streets, you have my blessing. When I can, I will be there with you. As you protest the evil that many, if not all, police departments around the country are inflicting on you, I'm with you. If you want to say we got to get rid of this crazy white motherfucker right fucking now, I, believe me, am with you 1,000,000%. And I'm not the only one. So again, I know talk is cheap. Take my words for what you will. But you're on the right side. I support your side. And I know who is not on the right side. And if anybody in the White House is listening, go take a flying fuck at the moon. Thank you.